Dependent clause, independent clause. Don't be confused. Just watch this video. Welcome back to Joy Fernandez Tutorials. I hope that you have already watched the video about how to differentiate a phrase from a clause. This will give you a clearer view on our topic today. But if not, please watch the video. The link is provided above. Okay, so what's the difference between an independent clause and a dependent clause? An independent clause in definition is simply a simple sentence and it contains at least one subject and a predicate or a verb. Just like an independent person, it can stand alone. It has a complete thought. Kahit alisin mo yung ibang clauses na kasamahan niya or kasama niya sa sentence, it still shows a complete thought. We'll have more on that later, but we have to define also what a dependent clause is. A dependent clause also contains a subject and a predicate, but it doesn't show a complete thought. So for you to understand better, let's have this example. Okay. My sister got a high score in the test because she reviewed last night. Which do you think is the independent clause and also the dependent clause? Okay. So this is now the clause which is independent. My sister got a high score in the test. Why? It has already a subject and a predicate. This is the simple predicate. So that makes the sentence complete. If we remove this because she reviewed last night, from this clause, do you think it can still stand alone? Does it still show a complete thought? Yes, my sister got a high score in the test. That already shows a complete thought. How about the dependent clause? See, because she reviewed last night. This is now the dependent clause. It has also a subject, meron din siyang subject, meron din siyang predicate. However, if we remove this clause, etong my sister got a high score in the test, and this remains, it doesn't show a complete thought. Parang hangin na siya. Tingnan natin. Because she reviewed last night. Hangin siya, di ba? So this is now a dependent clause. Nakadepende siya kay independent clause. Okay. Another way on how to determine a dependent from an independent clause is that a dependent clause starts with a subordinating conjunction or what we call as a dependent marker. We have a lot of dependent markers or subordinating conjunctions. These are flashed on your screen. Examples are after, although, as, because, before, even if, once, until, whenever, where, whereas. Those are all dependent markers. So these dependent markers are being used to start the dependent clause. Kaya nga tinawag siyang dependent marker. Now let's examine these examples. I won't listen unless you tell me the secret. What is a dependent clause there? What is your clue again? It starts with a dependent marker or a subordinating conjunction. So what is a subordinating conjunction used in that sentence? It's unless. Therefore, this is now the dependent clause. Unless you tell me the secret. It doesn't have a complete thought. And what remains is now the independent clause. So this is dependent clause. I won't listen. Okay. Nakakatayo siya kahit wala itong part na to. I won't listen. You still understand. Number 2. Although it rained, it's still hot. Dependent? Yes. Although it rained. What's the subordinating conjunction used? Although. And of course, what is the independent clause? It is still hot. Sometimes the dependent clause is found in the middle of the sentence. Example, the principal whom I looked up to gives me an advice every day. What is the dependent marker used? Whom. And then, this is now the dependent clause, whom I look up to. And what remains is the independent clause. The principal gives me an advice every day. So this is now the independent clause. Are you ready for the challenge? Take this quiz, pause this video for a while, and come back later for the answers. Let's check your answer. Number 1, because you are special to me, I will give you a discount. Independent clause is, I will give you a discount. And the dependent clause, because you are special to me. Number 2, my sister was nervous when you came. Independent clause is, my sister was nervous. Good. And the dependent clause is, when you came. Number 3, even if they did not win, they still continued practicing. Dependent clause, even if they did not win. And the independent clause is, they still continued practicing. Number 4, everything was perfect before the monster destroyed the city. Dependent clause, before the monster destroyed the city. And the independent clause is, everything was perfect. And the last item, whenever Regine sings, my heart stops beating. Dependent clause, whenever Regine sings. And the independent clause is, my heart stops beating. How many did you get in the quiz? Please comment down below your score. As a recap, an independent clause is a clause which is simply a simple sentence which has at least one subject and a predicate, and it shows a complete thought. And a dependent clause also has a subject and a predicate, but it doesn't have a complete thought. And it starts with a dependent marker or a subordinating conjunction. So that's it for today. Hope to see you in my next videos. Until next time, goodbye, keep safe, and God bless.